Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
How are you, Prabhu?
All right, all right. Still a little hot here, but it's okay. Okay. How are you?
I'm okay. Good. So let's continue. Let's start. Devotees will keep joining. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we continue on today on our same quest to fully understand Pancaratriki Vidhi and Bhagavata Vidhi so that we can understand how the initiations take place in those two separate processes. They are intermixed by Srila Prabhupada's and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's design specifically for Kali Yuga, because they have understood based on Srila Jiva Goswami's understanding that even though the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is enough, the Bhagavata Vidhi is enough, chanting and hearing, but still because we are so fallen in the Kali Yuga, lack of sense control, habits are like that, heart is not so purified, and cleanliness is also problem, fighting tendencies are there. So because of which they say you should add Pancharatriki within your Bhagavata practices. And they have intermixed the two processes, even though Bhagavatam itself is not recommending them directly, but they have intermixed the two processes based on the Acharya's understanding and the deep desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, other scriptures are talking how to do it. So, so how and to what extent they have intermixed, and how to really apply that intermixing from time, place, and circumstance within this age and within all the different countries and other places. We need to really understand the principle. Otherwise, it will be tough to apply, because we won't know what is the priority, what to bring it down, when to increase it, when to put emphasis on what, because there is time, place, circumstance, candidate differences all the time. And as time changes from 19 or 2025 to 2500, this will change so much of the application. So we need to really understand the devotees here, especially in the next couple of decades, who are going to be preaching, how to really apply all those the mixing of these two, and how Srila Prabhupada then is understanding is the guru in within those two processes, and how to see the differences and the guidance to other devotees. And I feel why we went into this in Guru Tattva discussion is because of this non-understanding or fully clarity in where is what. We are giving as a movement, giving more emphasis on the Pancharatrika system of initiation, which Srila Prabhupada also implemented. But there is a separate Bhagavata Vidhi initiation also, which has been going on. So let us continue our discussion, our understanding. And now we are going to discuss from Srila Prahlad Maharaj, one of our 12 Mahajans, on how to really understand these two functions. He has given Navavidha Bhakti, or the 9 facets of devotion service, in his and it is incorporated by Srila Vyasadeva in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, in the 5th chapter. So let us hear from Srila Prahlad Maharaj what he talks about Navavidha Bhakti, those 9 facets, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And Srila Prabhupada, he, from the Acharya's understanding, he has given in his purport, he explains this Pancaratriki, Bhagavata Vidhi, what is what, in this purport, and then we will go a little bit here and there to where Srila Prabhupada is referring to this verse and talking about this same subject of distinguishing between Panchratriki and Bhagavata and how to mix them and the priorities he's giving. So this is a crucial purport to understand, and so let us dive right into it. Um, Hare Krishna, Bhakta John Prabhu. I think you're on mute, but would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, Nimai Prabhu. Is it just the two of us today?
Christoph Prabhu is also there, and many devotees have told me they are going to join a little late.
Uh, yeah, I'll read. Excuse me. Text 23 and 24. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Achanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumsapita Vishnu Bhaktis Chin Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Ada Tan Manye Ditam Uttamam. You want the word for word?
Yes, Prabhu.
Sri Prahlad Uvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, chanting, Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu, not anyone else. Shmaranam, remembering, Padasevanam, serving the feet, Archanam, offering worship, with Soda Sopachara, the 16 kinds of paraphernalia. Vandanam, offering prayers. Dasyam, becoming the servant. Sakyam, becoming the best friend. Atminevadam, Atminevadanam, surrendering.
Atmanivedanam.
Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything, whatever one has. Iti, thus, Pumsha, Arpita, offering by the devotee, offered by the devotee. Vishnu, unto Lord Vishnu, not to anyone else. Bhakti, devotional service. Chet, if. Navalakshana, possessing 9 different processes. Kriyeta, one should perform. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ada, directly or completely. Tat, that. Manye, I consider. Adhitam, learning. Uttamamam, topmost. Translation. by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Swami Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him, in other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as the pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, where he has acquired complete knowledge. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Prahlad Maharaj was asked by his father to say something from whatever he had learned, he considered that what he had learned from his spiritual master was the best of all teachings, whereas he had learned about diplomacy from his material teachers. Whereas what he had learned about diplomacy from his material teachers, Sanda and Amarka, was useless. Bhakti Parasenabhavo Viraktir Anyatara Cha. Bhagavad Gita 11:242. This is the symptom of pure devotional service. A pure devotee is interested only in devotional service, not in material affairs. To execute devotional service, one should always engage in hearing and chanting about Krishna or Lord Vishnu. The process of temple worship is called archana. How to perform archana will be explained herein. One should have complete faith in the words of Krishna, who says that he is the great well-wishing friend of everyone. Surdam Sarva Bhutanam. A devotee considers Krishna the only friend. This is called Sakyam. Pamsarpita Vishnu. The word Pumsa means by all living entities. There are no distinctions permitting only a man or only a Brahmana to offer devotional service to the Lord. Everyone can do so, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:32. Striyo Vaishyas Tat Sudrate Pi Yanti Param Gatim. Although women, Vaishyas, and Sudras are considered less intelligent, they also can become devotees and return back home, back to Godhead. After performing sacrifices, sometimes a person engages in fruitive activity, customarily offers the results to Vishnu. But here it is said, Bhagavati Adha. One must directly offer everything to Vishnu. This is called sannyasa, or sannyasa, not merely nyasa. A tridandi sannyasi carries 3 dandas signifying kaya mano vakya, body, mind, and words. All of these should be offered to Vishnu, and then one can begin devotional service. Fruitive workers first perform some pious activities, then formally or officially offer the results to Vishnu. The real devotee, however, first offers his surrender to Krishna with his body, mind, and words, and then uses his body, mind, and words for the service of Krishna as Krishna desires. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following explanation in his Tattva. The word Shravana refers to giving oral reception to the holy name, and descriptions of the Lord's form, qualities, entourage, and pastimes, as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar authorized scriptures. After orally receiving such messages, one should memorize these vibrations and repeat them, Kirtanam. Smaranam means trying to understand more and more about the Supreme Lord, and Padasevanam means engaging oneself in serving the lotus feet of the Lord according to the time and circumstances. Archana means worshiping Lord Vishnu as one does in the temple, and Vandanam means offering respectful obeisances. Man mana bhava madto mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Namaskaru. Vandana means namaskaru, offering obeisances or offering prayers. Thinking oneself to be Nitya Krishna Dasya, everlastingly a servant of Krishna, is called Dasyam, and Sakyam means being a well-wisher of Krishna. Krishna wants everyone to surrender unto him because everyone is constitutionally his servant. Therefore, as a sincere friend of Krishna, one should preach this philosophy, requesting everyone to surrender unto Krishna. Atma Nivedanam means offering Krishna everything, including one's body, mind, intelligence, and whatever one may possess. One sincere endeavor to perform these 9 processes of devotional service is technically called bhakti. The word adda means directly. One should not be like karmis who perform pious activities and then formally offer the results to Krishna. That is karmakanda. One should not aspire for the results of his pious activities, but should dedicate oneself fully and then act piously. In other words, one should act for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, not for the satisfaction of his own senses. That is the meaning of the word adda, directly. Anabalasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanu silam nam bhaktir uttama. Madhya 19:167. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. One should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by fruitive knowledge or fruitive activity. The Gopala Tapani Upanishad says that the word bhakti means engagement in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not of anyone else. This Upanishad describes that bhakti is the offering of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To perform devotional service, one should be relieved of the bodily conception of life and aspirations to be happy through elevation to the higher planetary systems. In other words, work performed simply for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord, without any desire for material benefits, is called bhakti. Bhakti is also called niskarma, or freedom from results from fruitive activity. Bhakti and niskarma are on the same platform, although devotional service and fruit activity appear almost the same. The 9 different processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj, who learned them from Narada Muni, may not all be required for the execution of devotional service. If a devotee performs only one of these 9 without deviation, he can attain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is found that one performs one of the processes, other processes are mixed with it. This is not improper for a devotee. That is not improper for a devotee. When a devotee executes any one of the 9 processes, navalaksana, this is sufficient. The other 8 processes are included. Now let us discuss these 9 different processes. Shravanam, hearing of the holy name of the Lord. Shravanam is the beginning of devotional service. Although any one of the 9 processes is sufficient, in chronological order, the hearing of the holy name of the Lord is the beginning. Indeed, it is essential. As enunciated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaito Darpanam Marjanam, Chaitanya Chartamrita Antya 20, 5.12, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is cleansed of the material conception of life, which is due to the dirty modes of material nature. When the dirt is cleansed from the core of one's heart, one can realize the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara Paramaha, Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Bhakti Sandarbha, is that?
Bhakti Rasamrita Ishwar is Brahma Samhita.
Brahma Samhita 5.1. Thus, by hearing the holy name of the Lord, one comes to the platform of understanding the personal form of the Lord. After realizing the Lord's form, one can realize the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and when one can understand his transcendental qualities, one can understand the Lord's associates.
This is how we understand. Huh? So we can't really understand Srila Prabhupada fully or more till we are chanting well. But we can't chant well until in our conditioned state, unless we have full faith in Srila Prabhupada and we are doing it under his order. It's kind of chicken or egg thing, but as Bhakti Rasamrasa Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada writes, we first has to come chanting Shravanam and hearing from the pure devotee and other devotees. Then gradually the heart starts getting cleansed. One starts realizing the Lord a little bit. Then we can start to understand Srila Prabhupada. See? And then when one understands that he is as good as God, then one surrenders to him. And then our chanting can become better and better. So it's a progression. It's not like cut, one thing happens, then the next thing, then the next thing. Right?
Yes. Yes, they say there's a progression, and they say they're actually in order of importance, is what they're saying. Yes, here, what they're giving.
It seems like, right?
But I think they mentioned that. I think it
The
mentioned.
that is these aspects of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, and all those 9 processes. Here, this is a different thing. It's an internal consciousness.
Yeah.
Those 9 are external.
Yes. Thus, by hearing the holy name of the Lord, one comes to the platform of understanding the personal form of the Lord. After realizing the Lord's form, one can realize the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And when one can understand his transcendental qualities, one can understand the Lord's associates. Yes. Shall I continue?
Please.
In this way, a devotee advances further and further towards complete understanding of the Lord as he awakens in realization of the Lord's holy name, transcendental form and qualities, his paraphernalia, and everything pertaining to him. Therefore, the chronological process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. This same process of chronological understanding holds true in chanting and remembering. When the chanting of the holy name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia is heard from the mouth of a pure devotee, his hearing and chanting are very pleasing. Srila Sanatana Goswami has forbidden us to hear the chanting of an artificial devotee or non-devotee. Hearing from the text of the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the most important process of hearing. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name, and therefore the chanting and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendentally full of mellows. The transcendental holy name of the Lord may be heard and chanted accordingly to the attraction of the devotee. One may chant the holy name of the Lord Krishna, or one may chant the holy name of the Lord Rama, or Nrsimhadev, Ramadi Muksisu Murtisu Kala Niyamena Tistan
Brahma Samhita.
Brahma Samhita 539. The Lord has innumerable forms and names, and devotees may meditate upon a particular form and chant the holy name according to his attraction. The best course is to hear the holy name, form, and so on from a pure devotee of the same standard as oneself. In other words, one who is attached to Krishna should chant and hear from other pure devotees who are also attached to the Lord Krishna. The same principle applies for devotees attracted by Lord Rama, Lord Nrsimha, and other forms of the Lord. Because Krishna is the ultimate form of the Lord, Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam, it is best to hear about Lord Krishna's name, form, and pastimes from a realized devotee who was particularly attracted by the form of Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, great devotees like Sukadev Goswami have specifically described Lord Krishna's holy name, form, and qualities. Unless one hears about the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord, one cannot clearly understand the other processes of devotional service. Therefore, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that one chant the holy name of Krishna. Param Vidyate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. If one is fortunate enough to hear from the mouth of realized devotees, he is very easily successful on the path of devotional service. Therefore, hearing of the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord is essential. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11, there is this verse, Tadvad Visarago Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Prati Slokam Abhadavati Api Namni Anantasya Yaso Nititaniyat Shrinvanti Gayanti Granati Sadhava. Verses describing the name, form, and qualities of Anantadeva and the unlimited Supreme Lord are able to vanquish all the sinful reactions of the entire world. Therefore, even if such verses are improperly composed, devotees hear them, describe them, and accept them as bona fide and authorized. In this connection, Sridhara Swami has remarked that a pure devotee takes advantage of another pure devotee by trying to hear from him about the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord. If there is no such opportunity, he alone chants and hears the Lord's holy name. Kirtanam, number 2, Kirtanam.
Let's discuss this Shravanam a little bit. Anything you would like to say on this, Phil?
Anything I'd like to say? Most of I think what's supposed to be said is said here. It's in the chanting is how you realize the Lord. That's the main foundational message, right?
It's the hearing is being talked about here.
Well, the chanting and hearing is one and the same, right? Isn't it?
What Srila Prabhupada is saying here is that one hears from another pure devotee.
Pure devotee, yeah.
One has to really hear from pure devotees.
Yes.
And a pure devotee takes advantage of another pure devotee by trying to hear from him
Hear
about
from him.
the Lord. So right now we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada and from devotees who are following, who are understanding Srila Prabhupada in truth. So that is also similar. But it has to be around Srila Prabhupada, hearing from Srila Prabhupada, because he is Abhilashita Shunyam and he is giving the Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada writes here, Hearing from the text of Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the most important
Most
process.
important. Yeah.
And that's what we heard that in the Nectar of Devotion, 7th chapter, in the first page, when the Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami are talking about to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, one of the aspects of taking shelter is to hear and learn Srimad Bhagavatam from him.
Yes.
So this is the same, is most important process of hearing for us, because it's full of transcendental chanting. And so he's fully described Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. And that's why we have to select a guru whom we can hear Bhagavatam from. So now what is happening now? That, oh, he has given me initiation. That is why he is my guru. Why? He has given me holy name. According to the acharyas and including from Srila Prahlad Maharaj, this hearing from whom one hears purely about Krishna, he is the guru. So this is the Bhagavata Vidhi. We heard the same exact thing from, I don't want to go there, but from CC Adi Leela 135, the first two paragraphs, exactly the same. This is exactly what is being talked about. You remember, right, Prabhu? Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Hearing from pure devotees about Krishna, everything is revealed. And that is the pure devotee, spiritual master whom we need to select for this initiation process. Okay, Prabhu. Want to continue? Anything else you want to add, or anyone? Krishna Prabhu? Pradyumna Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So that it is given that therefore the chronological process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. This same process of chronological understanding holds true in chanting and remembering. When the chanting of the holy name, form and qualities and paraphernalia is heard from the mouth of pure devotee, his hearing and chanting are very big. So it is like in chronological, so they are in connection, just like Shravanam, Kirtanam, they are in chronological, or after if one does not do Shravanam, then Kirtanam cannot be perfect like this.
Yeah.
How to understand this? Mhm.
And this is the thing, no? That's what we have been talking about now, that hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, leader means who has heard from his spiritual master. Same thing. So one has to hear from Srila Prabhupada so much that it replaces everything of what we have heard from others. Material worlds, devotee world, everything. Everything should be Shastra Chakshusha, meaning this seeing everything, every person, every situation. One has to, like, whenever one sees, because we can't remember Smaranam so much. So that's why hearing is so important all the time from Srila Prabhupada. 24 hours, one needs to hear all the time, all the time, all the time. Like, whole time in the house, temple, wherever one is going, we should, like 24-hour, why 1 second also we don't hear? Even if we are not paying attention, Srila Prabhupada chanting, he is so mercifully, he has recorded and he is chanting and purifying everything. And in the ether and our hearing, everything should be, what to speak of, philosophically understanding, but hearing also gives us philosophical understanding. Hearing, chanting, the atmosphere, from the heart. So by being in that touch with Srila Prabhupada, it becomes so much easier to then able to remember. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And remembering meaning everything, which we have been discussing about the this whole Guru Tattva thing, and Maya is gone and real is gone and why it is. And so when one is not heard properly from the spiritual master, one is not able to see so many angles. Preaching, how to do this person, how to preach, philosophically discussing, internally trying understanding what is happening to this devotee or that devotee or to the movement as large or to the world as large. Every single aspect has to be, seen. Then, as Srila Prabhupada says, writes in the purport of what is it, 2.7, that the disciple of a bona fide spiritual master, the symptom of a disciple,
Shishastayam.
huh? Krishna's, I'm sorry.
Shishastayam Sadivam Prapal.
The symptom is that one doesn't get bewildered. What is that? Let us get to that. Bhagavad. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything.
Yeah.
This know everything is not philosophical knowing only. It's the wisdom, the eyes, the Vedic wisdom. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activity is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the signs of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. That is the purport of this verse. So if devotees are feeling perplexed about what to speak of getting in tension, anxiety, all these things, that means one is not able to see through the eyes of, one is not properly heard. When one hears properly, then one won't get bewildered. And that's how they become leaders, because then other people who are not able to hear properly, who are not been able to assimilate Srila Prabhupada's the discussions and wisdom in their hearts, then they depend on others who are able to, and they are remaining dhira, and able to then guide others. That's their duty.
Yeah, bro. We sing that name Guru Vandana. Chakshudan dilo yahi janme janme. That is the same thing.
Yeah, very good. No? Very nice. That's why we become so grateful to him that he's giving us the eyes by hearing. That's why that Lilamrita, Mukunda Prabhu has written another very, very important book called All of Us Should Hear Srila Prabhupada. You've heard that book?
Okay.
This thing is All of Us Should Hear. This one.
all of such.
This is a very important book, huh? It is all Srila Prabhupada's words, basically. Same thing. All of us should hear Srila Prabhupada. So same words, but all of his quotes on hearing, what it does, this hearing. Very compiled very nicely together. And there, this whole section is there, how Srila Prabhupada is doing. Until you hear from the spiritual master, you cannot become leader. You cannot lead others. Because one would lead in different directions, and then after some time it will fail. And only from Srila Prabhupada. We must admit that we have realized definitely that the divine message from his holy lips is the congenial thing for suffering humanity. All of us should hear him patiently. If we listen to the transcendental sound without unnecessary opposition, he will surely have mercy upon us. The Acharya's message is to take us back to back to back out back to our original home, back to Godhead. Let me repeat, therefore, that we should hear him patiently, follow him in the measure of our conviction, and bow down at his lotus feet for releasing us from our present causeless unwillingness for serving the Absolute and all souls. Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja offering 1936. 36 or 35, I don't know. Okay. Let's go to Shravanam. Because Srila Prabhupada very
Yeah,
directly says,
Prabhu,
yeah, go ahead, please.
yeah, Prabhu, just I was asking, just like in Prabhupada, many times he say, any one of process, if somebody does not, he will perfect his life. So
Yeah.
I mean to say, without Shravanam, he cannot hear, I think, that Kirtanam or other processes. So how is that if one can do only one process like Kirtana, but unless he will hear, how he will do Kirtana? How to
So
understand that?
whenever these statements are written, no, it's nectar of devotion. This is explained here by Srila Rupa Goswami. I'll read that to you. Uh, nectar of devotion. Mm, where is it that these statements, I forget which chapter it is. I know in the physical book where it is, I can find it, but in this, basically what Srila Rupa Goswami is saying is that I really wish I could have brought it up. It may take me a lot of time to go through these. Maybe it's in this chapter. He says that these statements may look um, like too much, like extravagant statements, but they are sometimes true for some people. That's why they are made. Uh, do you remember where it is written? Which chapter it is?
I think we have heard previously for that. The evidence from that.
Srila Prabhupada, like is there in Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, because these are such, like they look like bombastic statements. One time doing this happens. One time doing that happens. And one may seem like, really? So the point is that it has been true for some people sometimes that just by following one process, one can get attachment to Krishna. But generally, it's not possible. And the margins are given. So that's why when we apply this teaching, no, when we see some, we generally would recommend to, by and large, okay, you have to do everything, start with Shravanam, everything. But when we are applying this principle, we see sometimes somebody is very attached to, like, maybe just coming and making some offering of flowers to Krishna and not really interested in the class or anything, hearing, then we should just encourage that, knowing that that also one can become perfect, you know like that kind of thing is there. And sometimes it may be there that somebody becomes really perfect just by doing one thing. So we shouldn't become like critical. He's not chanting Hare Krishna, he's not doing that thing. Because this is also true that some people will be able to. And even if not all nine, maybe two processes itself one can become more and more. What we have to see the symptoms, whether one is really advancing or not. And when we see somebody by following not the nine processes, but maybe one process, not even Shravanam, maybe one process is advancing, then one sees, okay, because of that process, very nicely one is doing, the attitude is good, Krishna is blessing. So one can't become sectarian thinking, okay, no, these are the only, ways one can do it. But generally, this is how it is. I want to read that statement. If you can find that also.
Yeah, Bhagwan.
I think it is in the Archanam place where it comes. Oh, okay, maybe it's in the offenses section. I think it may be here.
Many times we also get such statements at the end of a story, a lila, and it says,
Yeah,
just by reading this narration,
exactly.
Krishna,
you will
yeah,
get
Krishna.
this, you'll get that.
Getting so frustrated with myself and I can't find, in the book form, I know where to go look, especially the original Nectar of Devotion. Uh, uh,
So, Prabhu, shall I search what is any one word that you can exaggeration that now?
Can't remember that. So why don't you say something else so that we keep going? You quote something else. Huh? Balaram Prabhu, you have anything to add?
No, sorry, I just came. So please go ahead.
We're talking about the hearing process. And I was telling about this book, All of Us Should Hear Prabhupada. Very nice book by Mukunda Prabhu.
Yeah, that I have.
Very, very nice. It's talking about how without hearing, no, one is not able to lead. One place Srila Prabhupada is like many, many quotes are there like that. Shastra Chakshusha, all these things. So that's what we were discussing. Why is first is hearing? What happens with hearing? There are two places Srila Prabhupada says very, very, very emphatically that unless one hears, one cannot lead. And then he explains why it is so. I can find it later. Today I was not prepared. I'm getting so frustrated with this. Okay, let's carry on now. I don't want to take everyone's time here. My inability to find. I will post it.
You can do a search, right?
I don't remember the words I should do.
Okay. Then yeah, let's leave it. Go on.
Yeah, let's carry on. Kirtanam.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, like Shravanam, I want to ask just Shravanam means like sometimes we say it is Prabhupada say only oral reception. That's right. The
Yeah.
voice is going. And sometimes we say when it no, it means following also. Prabhupada also says sometimes it is not like we have to only hear, we have to follow that. It means if we simply hear and do not follow that, that is not hearing. Or sometimes it is mentioned the only oral reception by simply voice going inside.
That's
That
now
is
Srila
also
Prabhupada says all of us should hear him patiently. If we listen to the transcendental sound without unnecessary opposition, he will surely have mercy upon us. The Acharya's message is to take us back to our original home, back to Godhead. Let me repeat, therefore, that we should hear him patiently, follow him in the measure of our conviction. See? And bow down to his lotus feet. So we can only follow based on our how much we have developed the conviction, the strong faith. We have to start with complete theoretical faith that he is correct. I will not oppose him. So this is what it means by without unnecessary opposition. We have to. This is how the bhajana kriya starts, not not our the association comes first. We hear, we may not have, we will have a lot of opposition, everything, but bhajana kriya under the direction of the spiritual master starts at this, that we have no unnecessary opposition. We surrender that whatever you are saying is 100% correct. I will not oppose you in anything.
Nimai Pandit, can you elaborate on the word used here by Prabhupada, unnecessary?
Let me see what Prabhupada says about that.
So it sounds like he's saying necessary opposition is okay, but unnecessary opposition is not okay. So you can have opposition because, of course, we
Yeah.
have to like share our doubt and
Yes.
have some, present that to us so that he can help us by clearing that.
434 also says no that we should have questions. So that's very very nice point, Prabhu. 434 he talks about no. Then all about jigyasu shreya uttamam, and jigyasa will always be there, and but not. I mean, as far as I again and again have heard from Srila Prabhupada, this you when you take shelter of the spiritual master Guru Padashraya means 100%. One has to at least this thing that he is correct. We can't have this thing in our heart. We may have doubts how he is correct, but we cannot have in the mind that he is incorrect. So then we clear our doubts. But I know how it is done. I don't fully be able to explain you unnecessarily. I think you explained it well, Prabhu, already. So and so this is the thing, Prabhu, following in the measure of our conviction, huh? Pradyumna Prabhu. We can only do, I mean, this is the development of our Krishna consciousness. No? As Srila Prabhupada keeps saying that we are neophytes. We may not even be neophytes because that also is a Brahminical stage, being a neophyte. But And from that neophyte stage, our conviction, the firm faith becomes more and more in all aspects. And then we are able to follow also. Okay, so let's carry on now. Okay, Kirtanam. Balaram Prabhu, you want to say? You want to
Read. Yeah, I love to read. Minus the Sanskrit. Kirtanam, the hearing of the holy name has been described above. Now let us try to understand the chanting of the holy name, which is the second item in the consecutive order. It is recommended that such chanting be performed very loudly. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni says that without shame, he began traveling all over the world, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised, Srinada Pisa Nichena, Tarura Pisa Hisnuna, Amanena Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilya 17.31. A devotee can very peacefully chant the holy name of the Lord by behaving more humbly than the grass, being more tolerant like a tree, and offering respects to everyone without expecting honor from anyone else. Such qualifications make it easier to chant the holy name of the Lord. The process of transcendental chanting can be easily performed by anyone, even if one is physically unfit, classified lower than others, devoid of material qualifications, or not at all elevated in terms of pious activities. The chanting of the holy name is beneficial. An aristocratic birth, an advanced education, beautiful bodily features, wealth, and similar results of pious activities are all unnecessary for advancement in spiritual life. For one can very easily advance simply by chanting the holy name. It is understood from the authoritative source of Vedic literature that especially in this age, Kali Yuga, people are greatly short-living, extremely,
Generally,
greatly. People are generally short-living, extremely bad in their habits, and inclined to accept methods of devotional service that are not bona fide. Moreover, they are always disturbed by material conditions, and they are mostly unfortunate. Under the circumstances, the performance of other processes such as yagya, dana, tapaha, and kriya, sacrifices, charity, and so on, are not at all possible. Therefore, it is recommended. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Naste Eva, Naste Eva, Naste Eva Gatiranyataha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one advances perfectly in spiritual life. This is the best process for success in life. In other ages, the chanting of the holy name is equally powerful, but especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is most powerful. It is most powerful. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya mukta sangaha param vrajet. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one is liberated and returns home back to Godhead. Therefore, even if one is able to perform other processes of devotional service, one must adopt the chanting of the holy name as the principal method for advancing in spiritual life. Yagyehi sankirtana prayer yajantihi samedashaha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Those who are very sharp in their intelligence should adopt this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. One should not, however, manufacture different types of chanting. One should adhere seriously to the chanting of the holy name as recommended in the scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
While chanting the holy name of the Lord, one should be careful to avoid 10 offenses. From Sanat Kumar, it is understood that even if a person is a severe offender in many ways, he is freed from offense. He is freed from offensive life if he takes shelter of the Lord's holy name. Indeed, even if a human being is no better than a two-legged animal, he will be liberated if he takes shelter of the holy name of the Lord. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. The offenses are described as follow. A, or number 1, to blaspheme a devotee, especially a devotee engaged in broadcasting the glories of the holy name. 2, to consider the name of Lord Shiva or any other demigod to be equally as powerful as the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone superior to him. C, to disobey the instructions of the spiritual master. D, to blaspheme the Vedic literatures and literatures compiled in pursuance of the Vedic version. E, to comment that the glories of the holy name of the Lord are exaggerated. F, to interpret the holy name in a deviant way. G, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. H, to compare the chanting of the holy name to pious activities. I, to instruct the glories of the holy name to a person who has no understanding of the chanting of the holy name. J, not to awaken in transcendental attachment. Well, what's that? J, not to awaken in transcendental attachment for the chanting of the holy name. What's that? I didn't understand that. Not to awaken in transcendental attachment.
Not to consider holy. This is what we say, no? 10th offense is to not to have complete faith in chanting the holy name and to maintain material attachments.
Okay, that's different to what's been here, right?
I mean, Srila Prabhupada interprets.
Anyway, I couldn't even understand the English structure here. Not to awaken in transcendental attachment. Anyway, yeah, for the chanting of the holy name, even after hearing all these scriptural injunctions. There is no way to atone for any, oh my God. Oh my God. I've never read that before. Okay, there is no way to atone for any of these offenses. It is therefore recommended that an offender at the feet of the holy name continue to chant the holy name 24 hours a day. Constant chanting of the holy name will make one free of offenses. And then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform on which he can chant the pure holy name.
Well, it's
And thus
contradictory, isn't it?
Yeah, and thus become a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
It's not, I mean, it looks like, of course, as you are saying, but there's no
way to atone for any of these offenses.
other
That's a
than from the
sentence,
holy.
it's a statement, right? And then it goes on to say, well, therefore it's recommended that, yeah, I mean, that you can do that. You
Other
can,
than the holy.
elevate to the transcendental platform if you do that. So it just doesn't, it's contradictory no matter how you look at that one.
Same thing, but holy name is so great and wonderful, so merciful, that even if one is offending and chanting, the only way to remove offense is to continue chanting too. It's like offensive stage, we start with offensive stage, and if this was so that he would never give up never be offended by it. If he will be offended by it, then we will not be able to continue to clearing stage at all. And so the only way is to continue chanting and attempting under the instruction of the spiritual master. So he is helping us remove the offenses. That's the key. But even in spite of that, holy name is so great that we heard from Srila Jiva Goswami that alone chanting is enough. Don't need for initiation, all these things also. He can act as one's guru too, holy name directly.
Go on. Huh?
Yeah, of course.
It is recommended that even if one commits offenses, one should continue chanting the holy name. In other words, the chanting of the holy name makes one offenseless. In the book Nama Kaumudi, it is recommended that if one is an offender at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, he should submit to that Vaishnava and be excused. Similarly, if one is an offender in chanting the holy name, he should submit to the holy name and thus be freed from his offenses. In this connection, there is the following statement spoken by Daksha to Lord Shiva. I did not know the glories of your personality, and therefore I committed an offense at your lotus feet in the open assembly. You were so kind, however, that you did not accept my offense. Instead, when I was falling down because of accusing you, you saved me by your merciful glance. You are most great. Kindly excuse me and be satisfied with your own exalted qualities.
So this is the prayer we can do to Nama Prabhu. That's why Srila Prabhupada is writing this prayer here. Just replaced from Lord Shiva to the holy name, the Nama Prabhu. You know what I do, is just because of this injunction, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado. So I can't even directly pray to the holy name because of offenses. I just try to serve Srila Prabhupada more, like really. And I know he will pray to the holy name and offenses will be removed. Okay, Prabhu, please continue, no? You have anything to add in it, Prabhu?
Not me. Not me. Not me, but I mean, I can definitely say that the number one on this list, we should speak about it much more and go into detail what much more. You know, this offensive behavior to a Vaishnava or devotee or wannabe devotee or whatever.
Yeah.
But personally, I just see that maybe it looks like that this is the biggest factor that's keeping us from advancing.
To blaspheme devotee?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, not on, you know, if you blaspheme Prabhupada, of course you're gonna have issues, but to blaspheme anybody who's like representing the Lord and glorifying his name, and in our kind of neophyte sectarian way, we have some ideas and we tend to criticize and blaspheme devotees, and then we kind of struggle in our spiritual life. So it's like this could be the reason why, and we should look at it, talk about it, read about it much more. What does this mean?
What does it mean? What do you feel? What do you understand from Srila Prabhupada's books?
I take it exactly as what it says right here, directly, you know. To
What,
blaspheme a devotee
what does
who's engaged. Huh?
what does blasphemy mean?
Blaspheme. Yeah, I'm not sure about which words somebody may choose to say something. For me, the words chosen are not important. It's the mood behind it that makes it blasphemous or not blasphemous. If you're talking in such a way that just to pull someone down or criticize someone, you know, out of an ego thing, then that's blasphemous. But if you're talking in such a way that you're lovingly, caringly, constructively want to say something to them or help them move forward, then that wouldn't fall in the category of blasphemous. So it's more the mood behind the words rather than the word, the blaspheme someone. What's the intent? What is your intent? You can say to me, Balaram, you're a rascal. I say, yeah, true. And your intent there is just to help me stop doing what I'm doing. So your intent is good, so that wouldn't be blasphemous, right? But if you're using those words just to criticize me, make yourself look better or higher, then I would take that as blasphemy. I mean, ideally all of us, it's not nothing about the other person or even the words we use. It's really about our own heart, looking at our own heart and saying, okay, what is my intent of saying this and doing this? Is it out of jealousy and envy? Or is it really because I want to lovingly, in representation of Prabhupada, do I want to help them kind of understand something that is bad for their spiritual life? For me, that's what it means.
So why don't we discuss this more if you want to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're talking about this topic,
yes, Prabhu.
in the
Yep.
view of representing Srila Prabhupada,
Yes.
of course.
Pradyumna Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yeah, bro, I shared a text in that Srila Prabhupada is telling about blaspheming, fault finding in that group, WhatsApp group. Blaspheming, fault finding, and what is the third one? It is very nice in morning walk. Three things that blaspheming means you have good qualities, but still I am defaming you.
So February 6, 1976. February
Yeah, this one.
6th.
It will start like Tamal Krishna. He will say, what is the way to draw the line between following the three things: blaspheming, fault finding, and calling a spade a spade. Tamal Krishna. Yeah.
Talking about a whole. Because he's criticizing, Srila Prabhupada is criticizing the scientists.
Yeah.
So maybe in that context he started as, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because till now he has been really like criticizing heavily the scientists.
Okay.
You want to read?
Yeah, okay, I will read. Tamal Krishna, brunt off.
We can do it like this if you want. It's much better. Somebody be Prabhupada, somebody be Tamal Krishna.
Okay, I'll be Tamal. I'm full of.
Okay. Prabhupada is
Tamal
Pradyumna.
Krishna. What is the way to draw the line between the following three things? Blasphemy, fault finding, and calling a spade, which is basically discrimination. Okay, who is going to be Prabhupada?
I'll do
Pradyumna.
it. A spade, Prabhupada. A spade, just like I am saying that what you are small fig only. That is reality. And what is the other?
The other is fault finding. And
Fault finding, that is another fault. That Virnam Ichanti, Mixika Varnam Ichanti, Mudtam Ichanti. Just like the flies, they're finding out where is sewer. And the bees, they are finding out where there is honey. So two animals, they have got two businesses, fault finding and collecting the good things. These are two, just like creature. They are two classes. Similarly, there are many rascals who are simply fault-finding.
And blasphemy?
Blasphemy means you have good qualities, but still I am defaming you.
So the saintly person tends to overlook the bad qualities and see the good ones,
Yes,
like Krishna's dealing with Putana.
yes. Hundreds and thousands of miles, this fog, simply by 2 minutes, light of the sun, finished. Working. If there was no sun, then so many ships.
1 second.
Babaji, you're going too fast.
I was just seeing if it is relevant to this. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
If there was no sun, then so many ships are standing on the ocean. The cars, they are bang, 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 bang. So many disturbances. You see? You cannot do anything. Daivahi esa gunamayi. What you can do? Immediately he can kill you all. Thousands of planets immediately finished. Bring your science to protect them. No, not possible. Mare Krishna Rake K. When Krishna desires to vanquish, nobody could save you. Finished. Still, these rascals say, there is no God. Simply rascals. At least expose these rascals. We have no power to kill them, but at least we can expose them. That is also great service. Free Dayananda. Somebody else has to jump in.
Me. Sometimes, Prabhupada, when we expose them, their argument is, oh, you are a saintly person. Why are you criticizing me?
No, it is not criticizing. It is opening your eyes. You are blind. You are thinking yourself is very big. So we are opening eyes. You are not big. You're not even pig or fig. That is Ajna Timina Sandasya Gyanangana Salakaya. You are blind with ignorance, so we are to open your eyes. See things as they are. It is favoring you. It is not criticizing you. Words, Vibhu, the great, and Anu, the small. So these rascals, they do not understand these two important words. God is great, I am small. They think I am as good as God. This is the folly. English proverb, where angels dare not, the fools rush in. Eh?
Fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
So the angels, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are offering their obeisances, and these rascals are claiming, I am God. How great rascals they are. Shiva Vichinsi Nutyam, Srimad Bhagavatam 11:533. Shiva Vichini Nutam, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they are offering their respects, and these things are, I am equal with God, this Mayavada philosophy, mudhas.
I'll be Dayananda then. Srila Prabhupada, that tendency to be puffed up seems to be so strong. As soon as they get a little bit of so-called qualification, then everyone is becoming puffed up, even great personalities like Lord Indra and Lord Brahma.
Yes.
What to speak of all the...
Lord Brahma is also one of the living entities.
So how is it possible that we are so insignificant, but at the same time we become so puffed up? How is it possible for us?
That is material consciousness, that you are nothing, you are thinking very big. That is material consciousness. As soon as you become Krishna conscious, you simply think Krishna is great, we are nothing, insignificant. That is Krishna consciousness. And so long as you think you are independent of Krishna, you are also another Krishna, then you are fool, rascal. Muto yam nibhajantanti loko mamajam avyayam.
That's
Bhagavad
our
Gita
madness.
7:25.
Sorry. That's our madness.
Madness. The whole world is going on this foolish understanding. Therefore, they have been described muda or rascals. Anyone who is thinking there is no God, there is no Krishna, it may be he is impersonal, there is no personality, and I am equal to him. These are rascals, fools.
So actually, there's no way to become detached
The only way is that you become Krishna conscious.
except through Krishna.
Yes. Mameva ye prapantyate. You surrender to Krishna and everything will be clear. Just like as soon as the sun rises, everything is clear. No covering. That is our propaganda. That you become Krishna conscious. Then you become fully aware of everything. Otherwise, you remain rascal, fools, gadda, asses. If you prefer to remain asses, you can do so. But we are servant of Krishna. We must preach reality.
Even the jnanis and yogis become.
What? These jnanis? They are also another rascal, another edition of rascal. Bayunam jannamam ante jannavan mam prapyate. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Therefore, so-called jnanis, after many, many births, practical realization, they surrender to Krishna. Vasudeva sarvam itis sa mahatma, Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Then he understands that Krishna is everything. But such great person is very, very rare. Sa mahatma sudurlabha, very, very rare.
Who is Dayananda?
Me. But
Okay.
Dayananda was typing another window at the same time. Sorry. No, I lost it. Hey, Dayananda or hey, Dayananda? But what about the persons who may be a little bit devoted, but who have not achieved that unalloyed devotion?
Kanista Adhikari. They are not devotees, but they are called Bhakta Bhashya. There is some sign of bhakti. Actually, they are not bhakta. Bhakta Bhashya, Abhasya means a simple, a little bit. Oh, sorry, a little light.
So, devotee really means one who has love for Krishna.
Yes, unalloyed, without any condition. Anya balisita sunyam. Zero, all other, that I am this, I am that, I am jnani, I am yogi, I am karmi, I am minister, I am king. All these are thinking like that. They are all nonsense. I am servant of Krishna. That is greatness. Jivira Svarupa Haya Nitya Krishna Dasya. That is self-realization, Atma Tattvam.
So, because that person is very rare, then I guess the only way we can possibly know how to become like that is to find one pure devotee and exactly follow that way of Krishna consciousness that he has. I mean to say that because a pure devotee is so rare, the only way must be to find out a pure devotee and exactly follow.
Yes, if you try to find out.
So now the question comes.
Actually, right at the beginning of this conversation, they bring up the example of like Putana. Meaning, I guess, that how Putana came to kill, but Krishna just looked at her, not even good side. There was no good side. He just accepted
As mother.
they
As
accepted the criminal act of coming dressed as his mother, so there wasn't even a good side. But
There
still,
was
Krishna took that.
Krishna says, Krishna book says, no, that he took the mother side as giving milk.
Right.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't, she didn't actually have a mother's side of giving milk. The whole intention was to kill. So, and Prabhupada says, yes,
But he also killed the body. So both he did. He didn't just say, "Oh, you are so good giving me milk. I will forget the part that you are giving poison." Because that is required to protect other babies.
No, but killing the body was just, let's say, a side dish of purifying, right?
Also,
So
protect
uh,
other babies, no?
I don't know.
If he doesn't kill the body, then she will continue to kill other babies.
No, of course not. If he just by touching her, he purified her, right?
Not by touching her, just by sucking. Yeah.
No, it said also, oh yeah, sorry. But it said everywhere, we read it everywhere, that as soon as Krishna touches
Right.
the body, they become spiritualized.
Yeah, correct. So
if he wanted, he could have easily just sucked the milk, purified her, and then let her free, as he did with what's the snake?
but the
Ka
thing is that
Kalia snake.
that is okay, because all the other devotees prayed for him, and maybe there was another pastime because he of the Garuda, because he had given him free rein there. So there are other complications, but the point is that Krishna showed in his example that he also does paritraya sadhunam vinashchaya cha dushkritam. He also kills them. He he does some corrective measure too, physical corrective measure, not just delivering. We as Krishna's devotees, we have to accept that there is punishments too.
That's your version, yeah.
What is this? Okay, let's discuss this. Let us discuss this. Okay, I think this is the
No,
core.
don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Please stay
I'm
back.
going
Stay
to
back.
his
Okay.
same
The
word.
original question. No. Please just stay here. Don't go anywhere. Please. Okay. Pradyumna, his original question, I think, was what? Pradyumna, would you like to say your question again?
Yeah, means there are three things: fault finding, blaspheming. These are like same thing. So we were saying that not offenses, 10 offenses, blaspheming the pure
Yeah.
devotees who are propagating the message of like
Yeah, and
that
actually,
was
then
going on.
I said maybe before that or after that maybe we should discuss this more. I didn't mean just us here in this group. I meant generally in our sanghas,
Sure,
that
sure.
this offenses to the Vaishnava or to devotee who's trying to spread the glories of the holy name should be discussed and understood much more fully. And then we came across this conversation where Prabhupada is saying, can you go back to that part where that what's her name? Putana is mentioned.
Hmm.
So here, just a little bit lower. Yeah. So Tamal says, so the saintly person tends to overlook the bad qualities and see the good ones. Prabhupada says yes. And Tamal says, like Krishna's dealing with Putana. And again, Prabhupada says yes. So, you're adding on at this point now, you're saying that we should kill the devotees also. No, you have this
Killing the devotee.
killing element, but that's not here. Here's not what Prabhupada is saying.
Talking about a corrective measure to punishment, not killing.
Yeah.
Punishment. Srila Prabhupada also gave a lot of punishments.
I wouldn't, maybe,
Version.
I don't know if I would use the word punishment, but corrective measure, yes. Therapy, yeah,
Oh,
not punishment.
Prabhupada says the father, when he punishes, that is a measure, no? So
Yes,
when
of course.
persons, when they correct, when they punish, he gives the example of Narad Muni when when he cursed the, and in that example, he's talking about when saintly persons, they curse, they be benefiting.
Okay, very
Well,
nice.
let's be reasonable. I mean, if he sucked the life out of her, he took her life, and sucking the life out of her it had to be painful. I mean, you're not going to get away without that being painful.
She was crying out loud, oh son, leave me, oh child, leave me, leave me. She was crying so much that even Nanda Maharaj, who was coming from Mathura, he heard that cries.
Yeah.
So
She was
powerful.
suffering. I mean, it was painful. But the analogy that he gives right there, hundreds and thousands of miles of this fog simply by 2 minutes light of the sun finished. So it happens very quickly, but it's complete, right? That's right. That's the analogy he gives. So maybe she suffered, but it was quick, and then at the end, you know, everything, all the bad qualities, everything dispelled, and she's liberated.
Yeah. So actually, I want to ask both of you and anyone else here, in
Yeah,
this
Prabhu.
topic of punishing or correction, can you give us examples of how Prabhupada had certain situations where he dealt out correction and punishment?
Well, first we go by Srila Prabhupada, when he does something, he is always applying certain principles of the scriptures. So when you say that, when Srila Prabhupada applied, that is good, very good thing to understand. But I would prefer first we go to the scriptures where Krishna, devotees, they are punishing other devotees when they go off, so that we understand what is the principle behind it. Then we understand better how he's applying it, because in different times, different places,
Let's do it the other way. Let's
it
give
can't.
Prabhupada, yeah, we can. We can say Prabhupada had this situation, he did this and this, and to support this, here is the spiritual reference. What about we do it like that?
We can, but why
Okay. Yes, please.
don't understand? That's the wrong way to go about doing it.
Let's do one like that and one your way.
Oh, yeah, I want to say that.
It's the
So just like,
wrong way, meaning it's not the right way to see things.
It's okay. It's
Between
okay.
me and you, we can do like that, but but that's not the right way. Right way is for us to, Srila Prabhupada always, first you read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitam, all these books, that's how we understand by eyes of the scriptures. Then we see Srila Prabhupada. I mean, of course, it's not like we stop seeing Srila Prabhupada like that, but it's the opposite way, Prabhu. It's like you're going like that,
It's
and
okay. It's okay. We understand. Okay. Do one example your way and one example my way. Let's go.
so why don't you take up some example of Srila Prabhupada of punishing devotees, and then we connect
I don't have any. I don't have any.
Why is that, Prabhu? There are so many punishing examples, no? So many.
Okay, go ahead, man. Why I don't have is not the question here. Let's not waste time. Go ahead. That's why I'm asking devotees here. If you know any example of Prabhupada
yeah,
correcting,
one I know.
punishing, please share.
Yeah, Prabhu, just like that, Nitai, I think Nitai, he was a very nice speaker like Pradyumna Prabhu that time. So he accepted somebody else as a guru. Then Srila Prabhupada cursed that no, he will not get the association of pure devotee or a spiritual master for many lives like this.
100 lives or something.
Mhm.
But like from day to day, he was very, very strict. Very, very strict. Very like shouting many times. Don't bring the lunch at the right time. Shouting. Because he wanted devotees to be obedient. That whole obedience, no, in the consciousness, very, very strict about this. Devotees tell that if it was not 12 hour and 1 minute happens, very upset. So devotees who are serving him, they know they have to be there just as around 12, not early, not later, because if you bring one time, they brought it to Srila Prabhupada earlier.
Prabhuji, are we going on a different topic now?
No, I'm saying about the corrective.
Prabhupada chastised.
Chastise, no? Every time they would chastise, because his whole chastisement is to provide certain things. And that's why I see, Prabhu, this is not the way to go about doing it here. Like how Bhagavatam is talking about, and just like the first example, which is Krishna gives to corrects the Indra Dev, that is a good example, because he is not a pure devotee. He is like has so many material desires, and so he was trying to kill Krishna and kill the cows even, out of his uh, so much of ego, that why they are not worshipping me. And so Krishna chastised him, and the way he chastised him was made his ego crush by showing him he is much more than like nothing can happen. So his ego got is Srila Prabhupada writes again and again that even though he was a devotee, he was acting demoniacally. So that that is very instructive, because many times when Srila Prabhupada is chastising like devotees who are acting demoniacally. Now these devotees we talked about in terms of lunch, not time, and this time, they were not acting demoniacally. You know, I mean, we don't know, but we are not trying to like. That's not a demoniac thing that she teaching obedience, but as far as the so many disciples became demoniac, and even though they are devotees, so Srila Prabhupada chastised in many places. Like in 1970, when these disciples, these four sannyasis, no, he first gave them sannyas. They were acting demoniacally, and they even locked Srila Prabhupada in a room. Like Brahmananda locked him in a room, wouldn't let him come out, and it was so horrible. And then Srila Prabhupada,
Ramananda?
yeah,
Why?
Bhargamuni,
Why?
they were trying to like trying to somehow say to the whole ISKCON world some, so that Prabhupada can't say to everybody what they are saying or something. They wanted to they wanted to control ISKCON basically. So that's
Wow.
that's
First
what the,
time I heard this.
oh, you didn't know that, huh? They locked,
Gargamuni and Brahmananda.
yeah, and then they kind of, then Srila Prabhupada was so upset, and then the other devotees came, and then they opened the door, and he came out, and then that those are the times then he left from US and went to Japan, and from there then he disbanded the whole GBC. Not from there, he didn't disband GBC at that time. So that's when gave them sannyas, and then he removed them from ISKCON.
Wait, slow down. Sorry. I hope you don't mind. It's very interesting history. So they tried to take over ISKCON, lock up Prabhupada, and Prabhupada gave
They
them
kind of
sannyas.
started saying, Srila Prabhupada is God, we shouldn't let him do any work.
Oh, that I heard.
So that's
That
the
they
thing.
were saying.
So, and then they locked Srila Prabhupada up in the room, so that
That
he
seems
can't come out and say all.
it's very confusing because very confusing this story right now because
Something was going on in their mind that Srila Prabhupada, they wanted to be the controller of ISKCON, and Srila Prabhupada basically removed them from ISKCON, and
but wait, you just said he gave them sannyas.
so because the kind of he was trying to encourage them, because he saw that they are getting entrenched, because New York and LA were the two big power centers. I mean, they are great preaching tools, but because they're acting demoniacally, they started to think that they are power centers from which they can control the movement, the whole movement. And so that went on for a few months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. That whole
It
thing.
doesn't make sense that Prabhupada gave them sannyas. I mean, as a
He
sannyas, you get more
basically what
power,
he did
right?
was he basically what he did was gave them kind of a position in the society, like you take sannyas, and so that they and because he that whole thing was there that whoever is temple president can only be temple president basically, and the sannyasis they are traveling, so they will leave their entrenched position so that they may be cured. And then by preaching, sannyasi preaching, without all these material things which have bogged them down into thinking just like Indra, then they can become relieved of that, and then they start to get purified, and then they will realize their position, and
Wow,
which is what happened finally.
that's incredible. So actually, Prabhupada, let's say, seemingly gave them a higher position to get more out of them and correct the problem simultaneously.
I mean, he removed them from ISKCON too. Don't forget that part too. So he punished them so that they cannot give bad association to these other devotees. See, it has to be simultaneous. The see both a pure devotee thinks same like Krishna too, but not like he's killed paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Because if they don't kill the demons, then they disturb others. That's the problem. Srila Prabhupada is writing here too. He's saying here too that because we are Krishna devotees, we have to say what it is so that others don't. He's mentioning that see, that is and it is coming from the scriptures. The Brahmanas, they protect devotees from all the nonsense philosophies. It's not as an anger towards like envy or fault finding to other people, but to protect the innocent souls. That is their most important thought process, no? To protect the Brahminical of and saintly people. They all want to protect, no? And then the Kshatriya protects physically. They protect by knowledge and wisdom. So that is the same tendency which is coming down, that same chain of thought when Srila Prabhupada is chastising somebody and removing them from ISKCON and everything is not, it's not just those people, it's all the thousands and thousands of other souls which are there which can get contaminated.
So, sorry, just stay. If you bring that back down, I just want to continue focusing on this point. If you bring the page down.
We have to simply rascals, at least we have to expose these rascals. At least we can expose them. That is also great service. You see, also. You bring your science to protect them. See, oh, you are a saintly person. Why are you criticizing me? No, it is not criticizing. It is opening your eyes. You're blind. You're thinking.
Yeah, here Prabhupada is dealing with the scientists, right? The
Sim-
atheistic scientists. All this is saying about them.
See, with devotees also it is similar, no? Same consciousness going on because people misrepresent and misdirect. Then what about all the souls which are taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada? They need to be protected, no?
If you go back to the top, please, I just have something I want to ask you that. No, a little bit down, back down. Put on a sentence. Okay, so Tamal says, so then if you can explain more about this. So the saintly persons tend to overlook the bad qualities
Yeah.
and see the good. Can you elaborate on that, please?
That is how they overlook. Like Putna, he overlooked her bad qualities. The point is that he overlooked, like, one, see, both have to go on, both is there, that one has to protect others too. So one is overlooking what she is doing and not becoming envious of her. But that does not simultaneously mean that others will not be protected too. Then one is acting favorably towards Putna and not towards other souls who will get, who are going to be pained, no? In their bodies and all, will be killed, all these young babies. So, but one is not, she is not becoming envious of Putna, and he is delivering her too. So it is like a full on complete vision, no? So when one points out the faults of these devotees who are taking other, who are saying these words against Srila Prabhupada, acting like as if they are independent of Srila Prabhupada, and and bringing his position down, when one tries to point those faults, then one can, as you very rightly said, one can do it to minimize them, and that is not overlooking their bad qualities. That is actually looking at their bad qualities. But if the motive in the heart is to see that they are souls, they are great souls coming in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and they have served him so much, Srila Prabhupada is really, really, really very pleased with them within the heart. But simultaneously, this is also there that other souls are being misdirected now because they have developed a demoniac mentality, and not, just like Indra also developed all the demoniac mentality even though he was a devotee. So one has to take corrective measures to protect the other souls, and maybe they some may also look to see what is going wrong. But if one is a junior devotee like us, they're not going to listen to us, more or less, you know. So we can't do anything more than say we will not associate, but this is wrong. This is this so that others are protected. And then like my thinking is now, about 15, 20 years, from 15, 17 years since like in the whole of the legal situation and everything, I understood that these are great souls. Very rarely any soul comes to Krishna, and they are not only came to Krishna, they are surrendered to Srila Prabhupada more or less, and they served him so much. He has full on love for them, but they are also going off now. So all the corrective measures, including to protect his books, one has to do, protecting his souls. The devotees who are coming, they have to be protected. Then the future souls, the whole mission, so many innocent souls are there in the world waiting to hear the right message. And also all that has to be the pure devotional service has to be set up, which they are disturbing. So one has to take corrective measures without having any envy or anger or upset feeling or any harboring any kind of grudge, or that these guys they did that and like that towards them. All we can do now, at least me in my consciousness, in the next life, if they most probably they may take birth again, even if the Prabhupada takes them back, forgives them for afterwards what he did, like he's saying about this thing, then we have nothing to do in it. But if they take another birth, then let it be in a nice Gurukul setting where the parents are Prabhupada devotees, and they can guide that soul nicely. So that is what I, with the Gurukul and with the Varnashram and all this, that's all I feel my contribution would be. That's all I can do to serve them directly.
Prabhuji, thank you for that feedback, but it was a little bit leaning a lot more towards correction and remedy. But my specific actually question and interest more is for Srila Prabhupada and devotees like Prabhupada and for us to follow suit, what does overlook actually mean? What does that actually manifest into? Turning a blind eye and let somebody rape someone. How does that overlook part? What do we do with that?
Someone is, let's say, raping or killing, still hate the sin, not the sinner. That is overlooking. But overlook doesn't mean one overlooks the rape or the murder and not take corrective measures, no, simultaneously, while overlooking that person's fault.
Mhm. So if you don't mind, when you give us the philosophical, as you just gave right now, I would love it if you then give us an example of Prabhupada's application of that in his time.
I mean, everything he's doing is like that, no? Just like he took the example of Nitai. Also, all the acharyas do that, no? They curse somebody, but knowing that it's not a curse or like that. And
So
after
Prabhupada example?
he gave Pradyumna Prabhu Nitai, after 100 lives, he will again get a pure devotee.
Right. Doesn't seem like he overlooked that. He looked directly
And somebody is
and
already
cursed it.
using, no?
Huh?
Somebody
Okay,
is,
give us another example. Any other examples?
you give? I don't know. I
John
cannot.
Prabhu, do you know any examples of Prabhupada overlooking?
I mean, he is doing, every single soul is doing, no? I mean, not like it's like a
Well, I mean, he overlooks so many things. I mean, we're just
thing
complete
he's doing.
rascals that he came here steeped in ignorance and eating meat and everything else. And I mean, he had to overlook so many things. Just like Nimai said, hate the sin, not the sinner. Regardless of all that, he loved us and gave us the absolute truth and turned these rascals into saintly men. I mean, how much he had to overlook. And then, even once they began, they didn't just all of a sudden become, really accomplished devotees. They struggled, back and forth, in and out, fall downs and everything else. But still, he persevered with them. He didn't give up on them. He didn't like it,
Yeah.
that they had to do that, but he never stopped loving them.
Mm.
And I think, that love is the real foundational principle in all of this.
Mm.
Because when you love, then automatically you overlook, the faults of someone. It's how Krishna is completely. We're all these horrible, sinful people, even the most demoniac people, still he loves them. He sits in their heart and waits towards him, right? So there's a lot of overlooking going on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, Balram,
Yeah,
one more example that I have read in that
please.
I was reading Prabhupada's letter continuously. So one time that Kirtanam Maharaj, he was speaking some that Mayavad philosophy. So Prabhupada said that, okay, then he left, then he was coming back. Then Prabhupada said that, okay, let him come to center, hear the lecture, but don't allow him to lecture on the to the general public.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada, he banished, then he bring him back. Okay, let him come. So it was like that. Prabhupada allowing him again. Yeah, that was I read in one letter.
Even a disciple of a pure devotee reaches this consciousness 435, no, after 434. And when you have thus learned the truth, you know that all living beings are but part of me, and they are in me and are mine. I mean,
and
this.
that they're struggling on different places in the material world, and different places on the path. Some are so steeped in ignorance that they're suffering like anything. At the end of the day, all the ignorance is nothing but suffering. They don't even know it. Especially the deeper steeped in ignorance, the less the person is aware that they're suffering. Some of them even think they're having a good time. I mean, that's the illusory energy, right? And Krishna is so kind that if a person wants to be that detached from him, he allows them to forget so they can, kind of enjoy their nonsense, ignorant business. And still he sits in their heart, though, as the witness and watches and waits for them to turn, whenever that is, it's another million years, towards him so that he can take them back home. I mean, it's just unfathomable how much he loves us. It really is. It's just unfathomable. He never gives up on us.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All of you just broadened my vision and feeling of this overlook. Because as you say, Paramatma is doing it all the time so much.
Oh, completely. I mean, he creates, and beyond that, he creates all the entire material creation just so we could live out our fantasies and nonsense and then go back home to him. The whole entire material creation is only there for that. He creates all of that just for us to, do our nonsense. Live out the things that our desires that we think we want, right? Only to come to the realization that it's all, we just wasted our time and we did nothing but suffer, and we end up very sorry that we did that and we turned our face from him and go back home. But that could take millions of years, and he gives us this incredible playground, to just live out all our fantasies and be and live separately from him and enjoy separately from him, just so we can find out for ourselves that that's not really what we want. It's remarkable.
A whole lot of overlooking.
Oh my God, it's more than overlooking. It's facilitating, right? He's facilitating us to live out our fantasies, right?
Yeah.
And then as we're living the fantasies, he's overlooking all the sinful activity. It's just unbelievable. It's so remarkable.
John, can I ask you a question on this nice point that you just talked about? Is it
Sure.
possible that Srila Prabhupada facilitated the fantasies of his devotees, disciples to be guru within ISKCON, at the same time correcting them?
Well, I think that, Srila Prabhupada, he created his movement and he knew that, it wasn't going to be perfect when he left. I mean, that was his biggest lamentation and biggest anxiety when he was leaving, is that as it was about his disciples and how the movement would go on. He's well aware it's Kali Yuga. He was probably well aware that there'd be these fractures and different, groups that will come up from all this. But he, like Krishna, he still loves us all. Still loves us all. I mean, obviously, just like he chastised the devotees, his disciples, when he was here, he doesn't like when they don't follow his direct orders. He don't like when they disobey the direct order of the spiritual master, because it's so bad for them.
Yeah.
More than anything, he knows how bad it is for them and their spiritual progress and their spiritual life, that they're going to have to continue to come back and suffer. That's what pains him more than anything, like Krishna, right?
So here, fourth canto, no, Srila Prabhupada writes in this famous purport, whenever an acharya comes, following the superior orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative, he establishes the principles of religion as enunciated in Bhagavad Gita. Religion means abiding by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Religious principles begin from the time one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the Acharya's duty to spread a bona fide religious system and induce everyone to bow down before the Supreme Lord. One executes the religious principles by rendering devotional service, specifically the 9 items like the hearing, chanting, and remembering. Unfortunately, when the Acharya disappears, rogues and non devotees take advantage and immediately begin to introduce unauthorized principles in the name of so-called swamis, yogis, philanthropists, welfare workers, and so on. Actually, human life is meant for executing the orders of the Supreme Lord, and that is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9:34. Man manamat bhakto. The main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotees, to worship the Supreme Lord, and to bow down before him. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles. But when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master. So this is the first, we have to become perfect disciples, and then we have to relieve the situation created by the rogues and non-devotees. Not only in the world.
Can we finish that paragraph, please?
At the present moment, practically the entire world is afraid of rogues and non-devotees. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is started to save the world from irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with this movement in order to bring about actual peace and happiness in this world. See, this is so horrible to see, that Krishna consciousness movement as the leader, the guide, is not doing its duty. And so people
I think the principle of, easy on others and hard on ourselves applies here, right?
Oh, very nice.
We have to be merciful to everyone else, and the strictness that we apply should be to ourselves.
Yeah, see this impersonalistic philosophy, is that's why what the difference between Srila Prabhupada and many other so-called gurus, it was this swamis and all these people were the Srila Prabhupada criticized them. And they would be saying everybody is one, everybody is all good. They don't distinguish between offender, rogues, non-devotees, wrong philosophy. They don't demarcate it. They don't like separate it. And because it is Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that he yayatamam prapadyante, as you reciprocate, as you surrender, I reciprocate. And he also says I am equal to everyone, but to someone who is worshipping me with love, I am especially merciful. So he is merciful according to one's tendency. So with people who are going against him, so they are punished too. Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam, to protect others. So these when demoniac people, when the souls are pure, and when we say demoniac people, it is like this. What he is saying here, the samvartaka. Uh, See, the Samvartaka was ordered by Indra to go over Vrindavan and inundate the whole area with an extensive flood. Demonically, Indra thought himself to be the all-powerful Supreme Personality. When demons become very powerful, they defy the Supreme Controller, Personality of Godhead. Indra, though not a demon, was puffed up by his material position, and he wanted to challenge the Supreme Controller. He thought for himself, at least for the time being, as powerful as Krishna. So normal demon will not think like that. They will think all the time. But Indra, he started thinking demoniacally. He was not a demon. And so for that time period, they start thinking like that. So that mentality can be corrected by words. If they are not being corrected by words, we cannot correct them, then we have to go away from that association. But we have to tell people very strictly what is right, what is wrong, what Srila Prabhupada is right saying in spade by spade, or spade by spade. We call a spade a spade. What Tamal was saying. Srila Prabhupada is saying yes. That's what by calling the scientists like this, like that, mudas, rascals. That's what he's doing. But with a loving heart towards both the soul who is writing, saying, the scientist, and also loving heart towards the innocents.
Yeah, he calls the scientists rascals and all the rest, but he still wants to save them. He would still love to save them and give them Krishna consciousness. So the love is still there, right?
Not just to scientists, but the others, no? Whom the scientists are listening to.
Everyone.
The love will be, if he won't be loving the innocent souls who are getting influenced by the scientists, if he doesn't point out what is wrong with them,
Sure. Yeah.
remove their faith in that whole process, getting misdirected.
John Prabhu, you're mentioning just a little before, and I don't think you finished, that we should focus a lot more on ourselves, like be strict on ourselves and a little bit more merciful on others.
Yeah, that's a principle. That's a principle in our Krishna conscious life, is to be easy on others and hard on ourselves, strict on ourselves. Yeah. In other words, it's a principle of not fault finding. You be patient with others. And you understand that look, one of the most important things I think I've come to realize and that I've heard is that, Srila Prabhupada and the scriptures that he gave us and the philosophy he gave us is perfect, but men are not. It's just that simple. So we can't expect that they are going to be, right? That would be foolish.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, then we have to have patience for people's shortcomings and failures and, misconceptions and whatever else it is.
Mm-hmm.
While not letting them disturb others. Together we have to do it perfectly. Here, Krishna also, see, upon hearing their prayer, Krishna could also understand that Indra, being bereft of his sacrificial honor, was pouring down rain that was accompanied by heavy pieces of ice and strong winds. Although all this was out of season, Krishna understood that this was a deliberate exhibition of anger by Indra. He therefore concluded, "This demigod who thinks himself supreme has shown his great power, but I shall answer him according to my position, and I shall teach him that he is not autonomous in managing universal affairs. I am the supreme lord over all, and I shall thus take away his false prestige, which has risen from his power. The demigods are my devotees, and therefore it is not possible for them to forget my supremacy. But somehow or other he has become puffed up with material power, and thus is now maddened. I shall act in such a way to relieve him of this false prestige. I shall give protection to my pure devotees in Vrindavan, who are at present completely at my mercy and whom I have taken completely under my protection. I will save them by my mystic power." See, he's doing both the things
Yeah, he's just trying to
simultaneously.
correct Indra. He's trying to correct him and relieve him of this false prestige, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time protect his devotees. He's not dethroning him. He's not removing him from his position. He's just teaching him a lesson.
And while protecting devotees simultaneously.
Yeah.
Paritranaaya sadhunam vinasha cha dushkritam. Simultaneously, he does both the things. That's the consciousness of devotees have to be all the time. It can't be one or the other. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
protecting these devotees, so I will like bring them and all these people who are becoming gurus, you know, and then totally bring, the other rascal number one, this, that, everything one can think of, one is taking out on them. There is another place where he says something similar.
Hare Krishna.
It's in the prayers of Indra.
Nimai Prabhu, really sorry. I have to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll catch you next week. All of you, thank you so much for your association.
Indra knew about the exalted position of Krishna because Krishna is the master of Indra, but he could not believe that Krishna could come down and live in Vrindavan among the cowherd men. When Krishna defied the authority of Indra, Indra became angry because he thought that he was all in all within this universe and that no one was as powerful as he. But after this incident, his false puffed up prestige was destroyed. Being conscious of his subordinate position, he appeared before Krishna with folded hands and began to offer the following prayers.
You might prove?
Yeah.
Yep. One more point that regarding protection and that punishing. That Prabhupada said na that Krishna being absolute. So both thing are same thing. He's protecting in that also by punishing. And same with the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada when he's angry or when he's giving favor. That is even that na Nitai. He's punishing in one sense, but he's giving that favor also because if one what he if he rejects a pure devotee, then he will never get like this. But Srila Prabhupada is only given like thousand years. Same story was in Chaitanya Charitamrita one devotee he was associating Mayavadis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first said that I will never associate him. Then okay, after 10,000 years, then he was dancing outside.
Yeah. So here is nicely he is writing, "My dear Lord," Indra is praying, "you are the original father of this cosmic manifestation. You are the supreme spiritual master of this cosmic world, and you are the original proprietor of everything. As eternal time, you are competent to chastise offenders. Within this material world, there are many fools like myself who consider themselves to be the Supreme Lord or the all in all within the universe. You are so merciful that without punishing their offenses, you devise means so that their false prestige is subdued and they can know that you and none else are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Father, the Supreme Spiritual Master, and Supreme King. Therefore, you have the right to chastise all living entities whenever there is any discrepancy in their behavior. The Father, the Spiritual Master, and the Supreme Executive Officer of the state are always well wishers of their sons, their students, and their citizens, respectively. As such, the well wishers have the right to chastise their dependents. By your own desire, you appear auspiciously on the earth in your eternal varieties of form.
I mean, it's always to bring us closer to him, no matter what, even if it's chastising or teaching us a lesson. At the end of the day, he's just bringing us closer to himself.
Yeah. So he's trying to excuse. My dear Lord, you are so kind to me that you have bestowed your mercy upon me by destroying all my false prestige. I therefore take shelter under your lotus feet. So then he says something else. You should always remember that all your material opulences are due to my mercy. Everyone should always remember that I am the Supreme Lord. I can show anyone my favor and I can chastise anyone because no one is superior to me. If I find someone overpowered by false pride in order to show him my causeless mercy, I withdraw all his opulences. And then okay. So this is very good, huh? Pradyumna Prabhu, wonderful that you brought that conversation about so that we can understand what is blasphemy and what is not. Blasphemy, Srila Prabhupada defines as among all the good qualities, one is finding faults, like a fly. So the tendency is to only find faults and to. Okay.
All right.
Kirtanam, that's what we were listening. The first offense is to the blaspheming the devotees of the Lord.
So, Prabhu, that 10 offenses in that Hindi, they have written that blasphemy the pure devotees who have dedicated. Generally, that when we read English, it is like devotees who have dedicated their whole life, or how to
Srila
understand that
Prabhupada
pure.
was, Srila Prabhupada was answering, no, here in this conversation. He was saying about devotees and pure devotees. Devotees means Kanishta.
Yeah.
Uh, they're not devotees, they are called Bhakta Abhas. There's some sign of Bhakti. They're not Bhakta. So devotee really means one who has love for Krishna. Yes, unalloyed, without any condition. Zero, all other. That I am this, I am that. And others are, that ye yathamam prapadyante.
So regarding blaspheming, then those who are not so pure, that is not offense at the holy name.
I mean, first of all, why should be one offensive, blasphemous to any devotee, anybody, any soul also? Because
That
the
was the point.
because the habit will continue, no? Because it's going on. It's not a question of mind external. It is a question of the heart. One is trying to be overlord over something, and that is causing one to become upset and trying to pull somebody down. So that one is when one is thinking dasa dasanu das nitya. Just Srila Prabhupada says that I am a servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarup Hai Nitya Krishna Das. One is not thinking like that, then all of these things somewhere or the other will come out to this soul, Kali Yuga, some material soul, or some devotee, or even to pure devotee, or even to Krishna. It's a question of the heart. So Of course, in our, like when we are going forward, at least some punishment is there, no? Like, my God, if I blaspheme Srila Prabhupada or to other devotees, what will happen to me? I will not do that. But others, when the heart is not pure, one can at least control one's mind through the intelligence that I should not do that. But to go forward means to remove everything for any soul, because it's basically because of this issue. Nitya Krishna Das is not being understood and still has
So
some implications. Yeah.
it was just like we have to control our mind and senses by our intelligence. But how the intelligence will be purified, or because senses and mind they are strong, na? Only the process is chanting and all this thing. That intelligence, how the upper self will control the lower self.
That's there in the third chapter, no? Bhagavad Gita in the end. You remember?
Mm. That
It's
Pradesh Ram.
no. See, third chapter. It's nicely Srila Prabhupada, and he explains in the end of the third chapter, last few verses, that um,
Indriyani Pararam. Something.
Jani Manobuddhiran Asyadishtam Uchyate. These are the 3-4 verses, if you read nicely. Like that, that's where he is explaining this thing. Says the enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul. Therefore, Lord Krishna is giving hints to those places, so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all the activities of the senses, and thus the mind is the reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter, and thus with the mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. This false identification is written here. And in the next verse, he then gives the solution. Therefore, Arjuna, best of all Bharata, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So there he explains, Jnanam refers to knowledge of self as distinguished, and Vijnanam refers to specific knowledge of the spirit soul and knowledge of one constitutional position and his relationship to the Supreme Lord. So this is the whole key. What we were discussing, Nityera Krishna Das, if one is it's not thinking, then all the trust, everything will come. But how to do that? So from the beginning of one's life, one has to learn Krishna consciousness. But he explains, yeah. Lust is only the perverted reflection of the love of God, which is natural for every living entity. But if one is educated in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning, that natural love of God can deteriorate into lust. When love of God deteriorates into lust, it is very difficult to return to the normal condition. Nonetheless, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following the regular principles of devotional life. So, from any stage of life or from the time of understanding his urgency, one can begin regulating the senses and Krishna consciousness, devotions of the Lord, and turn the lust into love of God in the highest perfection stage of life. I think, next verse is explaining the final, his conclusion, how to do it. And the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So, there, here. In Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the bodily functions are described here ultimately end in the Supreme Soul. Bodily actions means the function of the senses. And stopping the senses means stopping all bodily actions. But since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. But above the mind, there is the determination of the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul proper. If therefore the soul is directly engaged with the Supreme, naturally all other subordinates, namely the intelligence, mind, and senses, will be automatically engaged. In the Katha Upanishad, there is a passage in which it is said that the objects of sense gratification are superior to the senses. So, this is the thing that the soul needs to become stronger by engaging with holy name, prasadam, um, other devotees, seeing the deity. That's like the food for the soul. Soul is directly purified, then everything else gets purified. With intelligence, one has to seek out the constitutional position of the soul and then engage the mind always in Krishna consciousness. That solves the whole problem. A neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof from the objects of senses. One has to strengthen the mind by use of intelligence. If by intelligence one engages one mind in Krishna consciousness by complete surrender unto the Supreme Person of Godhead, then automatically the mind becomes stronger. And even though the senses are very strong, like serpents, they will be no more effective than serpents with broken fangs. But even though the soul is the master of intelligent mind, and the senses also, still, unless it is strengthened by association with Krishna and Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down due to the agitated mind. So these statements, then they become our ropes of coming out of sewer, strengthening. That it is strengthened by association with Krishna. Every chance of falling down. Okay, Prabhu.
All right.
Very nice.
Yes.
So next, continue on the Smaranam. So this is all Bhagavata Vidhi. Later on, Srila Prabhupada will explain Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. These four are performed under Bhagavata Vidhi, irrespective of being in the temple, worship, nothing. Initiated, not initiated, nothing. These four can perform before the initiation of formal or Pancaratriki or anything. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. He also explains Pada Sevanam also means Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of the spiritual master. Is also Guru, is also Pada Sevanam. And then he will explain about. So let's continue reading next week too. And onwards, we will go next week to Smaranam. Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhu.
Chakra.
Once you call Guru
Hare Krishna.
Bhishak, Kripa Sindhu Bhava
Kripa
Patitanam
Sindhu
Panave